everyone. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining today's session. And my name is EswaraMoorthy Gandhan. I'm excited to walk you all through how top organization achieves results more faster using OKRs. Before we dive in, a quick word about Profit.co as a company. So we are very passionate about helping businesses translate their goals into actionable results. Our platform empowers team to set very clear objectives and measure what matters the most, and most importantly, adapt quickly in this fast changing environment. So today I'll be sharing quick insights on how OKRs enables organization to iterate faster, stay aligned, and turn their strategies into very real progress. Let's get started. So before we get to the actual topic, a quick introduction about myself. My name is EswaraMoorthy Gandhan. For the past 15 plus years, I have been obsessed with one thing, helping organizations bridge the gap between strategy and execution. From IT to manufacturing to services, I have guided organization teams of all sizes to launch, scale, and succeed with OKRs. And along the way, I try making even the most complex strategic frameworks simple, practical, and even enjoyable. As an OKR coach, I get to see it in action every day. Teams simplifying complex, leaders getting clarity, and organizations finally moving from intent to impact. So, with that in mind, let's explore OKRs, they are, why they matters, and how they can transform execution in your organization. Right. So, probably this is my first question to all of you, right? Why OKRs? Right. So, how many of us have worked with management framework that just felt very heavy, slow, or overly complex? Thinking about those times where it takes months just to get started. Did it seem like you needed a team of experts just to even understand the framework? What if I'm telling you that there is a way to manage and execute and does not needs that much of preparation, actually makes sense whether you are an intern or the CEO? The point one OKRs is very simple and speed, right? It just works. It does not need month of preparation. It is very lightweighted. You can get started without months of planning or training, right? And how important is it for a framework to be simple and intuitive for everyone in your organization? OKRs are designed so that from the top to bottom, everyone gets it. There is no hidden jargon, just clear, actionable objectives and key results so that it is easy for everyone to execute the strategic priorities. And OKRs helps us to combine your goal management along with your execution. It is a only goal management framework where it helps you to define your goals and also manage the execution. And finally, here is a big one, right? Most successful companies use OKRs as their primary goal management framework. While there are tons of management frameworks, but there are almost all the companies execute their strategies using OKRs, right? As we have discussed now, OKRs brings clarity, alignment, real commitment. Now let's look at how these principles are getting transformed into what I call the superpowers of OKRs, right? On this particular slide, you will see 5 facts that showcase why OKRs are so effective, and each letter stands for an essential element, right? The first one being focus. Let's start with a thought. If you chase 2 rabbits, both the rabbits are going to run away from you. When everything feels urgent, the teams get lost. With OKRs, step back and identify what are the top 3 to 5 important business goals this year. Clarity and prioritization. When the priorities are very clear, the path towards achieving those priorities will become very clearer too. It helps you to focus on the actual priorities. Then, when the organization defines their goals, and it helps you to cascade or align your goals across all the functions within your organization so that everybody works towards the strategic priorities. What if there is a situation when the sales goals are not getting aligned with the marketing priorities? It is a problem. So hence it is very important for an organization. You have to be stay aligned and depends on each other and support each other so that all of you contributes towards the strategic priorities. Then the most important superpower I would prefer is the commitment. What gets people truly invested in their goals? When they help set them. Right? When employees chooses projects and methods leading to innovation like Gmail or AdSense, by involving teams in goal settings, OKRs encourages genuine commitment and ownership, driving motivation and engagement. And then the most important, execution. So what is getting measured will get improved. With OKRs, the key is it helps you to regularly track the progress, setting meaningful KPIs, monitor the progress, and set implemental targets. It will help you to stay aligned towards your priorities. And finally, OKRs helps you to go over and beyond your day-to-day basics, right? It helps you to take stretch targets, what you feeling was unachievable earlier. It helps you to go over and beyond your day-to-day activities. So we call these as superpowers of OKRs, and the superpowers facts, and facts that stands for focus, alignment, commitment, tracking, and stretching. Okay. Now let's get into the what are OKRs. By definition, OKR stands for objectives and key results, right? Now, what is an objective? Objectives are nothing but a qualitative statement that articulates what you want to accomplish, right? Objectives are very specific and straightforward. It is inspiring. You cannot write a lengthy statement as an objective. Make your objectives very short and sweet so that it inspires people, right? Your objectives are always time bound in nature, and it is prioritized based on your actual priorities for the specific period. On the other hand, KR stands for key results, and key results are the quantifiable metrics that helps you to measure the success and progress of your objectives. Key results is where you will track your numbers. Key results is where you will define your metrics and track the numbers. Remember very carefully, objectives are qualitative and key results are quantitative. All right. Now we will understand the structure of OKR now. The starting point, right? Let's start at the very top, vision. Why does every organization needs a clear vision? So vision answers the very fundamental question, where do we want to go as an organization? It sets the long-term destination and purpose, inspiring teams, guiding decision making, and ensuring everyone knows what the organization is working towards. From this vision, we are bridging the vision into different objectives, right? That breaks down into actionable objectives, right? Once we have a very clear vision, we break down into actionable objectives. Each objective translates our big picture goals into focused strategic areas. Think of objectives as the stepping stones that concretes the goals that move us closer to realizing our vision. Now, the key results, right, is going to help you to measure your success. For every objective, we set key results. These are specific measurable outcomes that tracks our progress and success. Key results keeps us very honest that define what success actually look like so that there is no ambiguity. Now you will have your day-to-day actions. Those are your tasks or initiatives which will help you to measure or progress with your key results. This structure means that no effort is wasted. Every team member's works connects to a bigger mission. Right? So why is this structure very important? Because it ensures alignments from your vision to your day-to-day activity so that everyone knows exactly how their work supports the organization's purpose and goals. So it starts from the vision of your organization, and which are broken down into measurable objectives, and then you define your key results which tracks the progress and success of your objectives, and you will also connect your key results with your day-to-day activities. Now here is an example of how the OKR structure will look like in Profit System. You have your objectives, which are a very simple and straightforward, a qualitative statement which states improve user experience. And key results are the ones that tracks the numbers. We mentioned key results are the quantifiable metrics that helps you to measure the success and progress of your objectives. And here we have three key results. and each and every key results are with a baseline value, the initial value and a target value. When you regularly track the progress of your key results, you update the current key results value, which in turn gives the key results progress, and consolidated progress of all the key results will give you the objectives progress, right? So this is how the structure in profit.co system works, right? Objective, you have your objective, a qualitative statement, here in this case improve user experience. And how will I say that I have improved user experience? I'm getting that tracked into the key results. Key results is where you track your metrics, right? It always has a baseline value and a target value. When you regularly update the progress of your key results, that is when the current key result value will appear, which in turn gives the key results progress. Understood, all of you? All right. Now we understood the basics of OKRs and also understood what are OKRs. The most important thing is how to write high quality OKRs. We will look at this one particular example here. As I mentioned earlier, objective is an qualitative statement that articulates what you want to accomplish. Here in this example, I have taken improve customer service as my priority objectives. So I would like to reiterate that improve customer service is a qualitative statement, and it is very specific and straightforward, and it is memorable to all of us, so that it is inspiring. And how will I say that I have improved customer service? What metric will help me to say that I have improved customer service? In this context, I have taken customer satisfaction score. When I increase my customer satisfaction score from X value to Y value, that is when I can proudly say that I have improved my customer service. So here, customer satisfaction score will act as the key result that helps me to measure the success of my objective. When I increase the score, I can proudly say that I have improved the customer service. So what are the things that you will do so that your customer rates you more? What are the activities that you will do so that you can increase your customer satisfaction score? Those are your initiatives, activities, and actions. In this case, I will create better designs. I will deliver better consulting services to customer. When I do all these things, my customer is going to give me a better rating, which in turn I can proudly say that I have improved the customer service. Right. Moving on. Now we will break this into two different things, right? How to write objectives and how to write key results. First, we will start with objectives. How to approach, how to make your objectives comprehensive. The first and foremost thing, when you write your objective, you will have to account your organization strategic vision, mission statement, the priorities of your organization, right? Then think about all the external stakeholders of your organization. It can be your investors, stakeholders, or your customers. What are the promises that you made to your external stakeholders? Then when you create your company level objectives, it is very, very important that you will have to account all the functions of your organization so that it becomes comprehensive. In this case, you are including all the internal stakeholders, considering all the functions so that everybody contributes to your organization's priorities. And finally, what are some of the initiatives that you wanted to take as an organization or as a department or as a business unit, which will help you to improve your day-to-day activities, which will help you to improve your performance? Those are the things which you will have to consider. First and foremost, you are going to account the organization strategies, then consider the external stakeholders, the promises that you made to your external stakeholders, then all the functions of your organization so that everybody contributes towards the organization's success, and finally, some of the initiatives, the pressing problems that you wanted to solve for your own organization departments are the ones which you will have to consider. Moving on, right, we will understand some of the general and important rules to keep in mind for writing effective objectives. In general, right, so we are converting the problem statements to OKR. What are the top 5 problems expressed often by your customers? It can be your internal or an external customers, right? At each and every level, we are going to limit to a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 5 objectives so that everybody is focusing towards the strategic priorities. And more importantly, when you write your objective, make sure that your objective is qualitative and it has to be memorable so that everyone remembers it very easily. Right. And finally, you are not chasing two goals in an objective. One objective chases only one goal. This is a general thumb rule when you want to write your objectives. Now, when it comes to writing the company level objectives, right? Always from the strategy, prioritize your strategic goals. And when you write your company level objectives, make sure that you include revenue as one of the major metrics, right? And it should cover all the functions of your organization. And more importantly, it should be inspired by your innovators or competitors. So once the company level objectives are created, then it comes to the department level objectives. This is where you will align your department level goals to the company level objectives. We recommend that at least 50% of your departmental goals should align with your company level goals, and the remaining 50% can be your own departmental initiatives, which we talked about earlier. And with OKRs, both the alignments, the top down and the bottom up, is possible. And when you have dependencies, when you want to align some goals to your another functions or departments, make sure that you get the necessary buy-in from all the functions where you are dependent on. Right. Now that we understood how to ideate for our objectives, the next step is to write our key results first. Which key result you will write first, right? Key results, right? Lagging indicator. What is a lagging indicator? Lagging indicator is the one that measures the success of your objective. In the previous example, we saw improve customer service is my objective. And when I say that I want to improve the customer satisfaction score from 4.2 to 4.5, which indicates that if I achieve the score of 4.5, I have achieved my objective. So that key result is called as a lagging indicator. The key result that measures the success of your objective is called as the lagging indicator. And the most importantly, you will have to write the lagging indicator first, and then the lead indicators. What are the things that you will do to increase the customer satisfaction score? In the previous example, we saw better designs, better consulting services, all those things that I'm going to do so that my customers are going to rate me better. So those are your lead indicators. Lead indicators are the ones that helps you to measure the progress of your objectives. And your key results are always outcome driven. Make sure that your key results adds value either to your organization or to your customers. And most importantly, your key results should be measurable in nature. Your key results are the quantifiable metrics that helps you to measure the success and of your objectives. So remember very carefully, the first and foremost key result is the lagging indicator, which measures the success of your objective. Then you write your key results, and in general, your key results should be adding value to your organization or to your customers. Then it has to be measurable in nature. So these are some of the best practices that you will have to keep in mind while writing high quality key results. For each and every objective, it is very, very important that you are going to limit to a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 5 key results per objective. As I mentioned earlier, key results should be measurable in nature, and most of the key results should be KPI driven. And you cannot write a simple task as your key results. Always remember, your key results are the ones that helps you to track the outcomes. And you can also account weightages when you write your key results. These are some of the best practices that you're going to keep in mind when you write for your key results. All right. Now we understood how to write objectives and how to write key results. We are going to see some good versus bad OKRs and examples of to define the lead versus lag indicator. If we look at this example on the right hand side, improve our product's user experience, I have defined two key results. One, decrease the page loading time from 5 seconds to 2 seconds, and number two, increase product adoption or usage rate from X to Y, 80% to 90%. So if we read these two key results, decrease page loading time is an internal activity which I will have to do to increase the product user experience. But how will I measure success? When my customers user the product adoption is getting increased, that is when I can proudly say that I have improved the product's user experience. So here in this context, KR2 is the lag indicator because that measures the success of your key results. In order for you to achieve this, you will have to reduce the page loading time and many other activities which are your lead indicators. Likewise, establishing a wonderful wellness program Reducing absenteeism due to sickness from 4 days to 1.5 days is the lagging indicator, because this is not in our control, right? This is the outcome that you're expecting, but this is not in your control. This is the ultimate success, right? When you achieve this, you can probably say that you have established a wonderful employee wellness program. But for you to achieve this, you will have to do a lot of activities like this, making your employees attend 3 well-being activities, which are your lead indicators. This is in your control, right? So in a simpler way, that lag indicator measures the success of your objectives and lead indicators measures the progress of your objectives. The control of the lag indicator is not in your control, where the lead indicators you can control. The success of lagging indicator you will be able to identify only at the end of the target period, where the lead indicators measures the early sign of success. Right. This is the difference between lead versus lag indicator. And I would like to reiterate one important point, right? Please remember, right, at first you will have to write your lag indicator, which measures the success of your objective. So here is some examples between outcome versus output, right? So outcomes add value to your organization. I wanted to make my customers my brand ambassadors to increase the sales or increase the revenue. And when I achieve 25% of a revenue driven through customer referrals, this is adding value to my organization. This is an outcome oriented key results. And how will I increase this? I will do certain activities like this, which are your outputs, right? And making our website more intuitive. When my customers spend more time on the landing page, that's adding value to my organization. This is an outcome to my organization, right? In order for me to achieve this, I will solve a lot of issues like this, which are your outputs, your internal activities, which will help you to drive the outcomes, right? So we have seen some examples. We understood why OKRs, then we understood what are OKRs, then we also learned how to write high quality OKRs with some examples of lead versus lag indicators and also output versus outcomes. Now most of us will have questions, right, Ishwar? What is the pitfalls when you implement this OKRs within our organization, right, which may hinder our progress and execution? The first and foremost is when you write too many or too little OKRs, the lack of focus due to frequent change in priorities, right? I remember working with a team that set 10 OKRs for a quarter. They were ambitious, eager, and had a lot of ideas. However, halfway through, they found themselves constantly shifting their focus. So one week it is all about customer satisfaction, another week it is all about cost cutting measures, increasing revenue, and the priorities changes frequently. This is a classic example of losing focus because of too many priorities. We want to avoid that. Then less commitment towards the strategic goals, right? On the flip side, a department setting only one OKRs for a specific period, it seems like a good idea at the time, keeping things very, very simple. However, that single OKR will not cover the breadth of your organization's strategic priorities or goals. The team felt that they were not contributing to the bigger picture and hence lost the motivation. So it is very, very important that at each and every level, a minimum of 3 objective OKRs and a maximum of 5 OKRs have to be set, so that everybody is focusing towards the priorities and having a higher commitment towards the strategic priorities. Then inconsistent execution, irregular check-ins. Right. I was once consulting a service firm that had a very dynamic and fast-paced environment. They were excited about OKRs and setting ambitious goals. However, the excitement faded as they struggled with irregular executions. Right. They set their targets at the beginning of the quarter. As weeks went by, the OKRs were left unattended. I remember talking to one of the team members who said, "We set these OKRs, but we rarely discuss them in our meeting." This lack of irregular check-ins, meant they lost track of their progress and could not make timely adjustment. They are not able to realign themselves towards the priorities. On the other hand, poor follow through and reviews. Right? These are some of the pitfalls that you will have to avoid. When you regularly set the OKRs, it is very, very important you also clearly define the execution cadence so that your team members continuously track the progress adhering to the execution cadence, right? Then the lack of executive buy-in, which may hinder the strategic alignment and insufficient communication. These are two important things which the executives will have to avoid. At each and every stage, continuous communication regarding the OKR priority will have to be sent by the executives so that the team members stay really focused. And most importantly, you will have to have a very clear strategic alignment. And finally, the skipping the reflect and reset. The learning is a continuous process, right? Failing to analyze your success and failures at the end of the period is a problem. And more important, this will lead you to unaddressed bottlenecks, a lot of problems which are not attended. So we want to create a very good culture of learning, and wherein team members can reflect on their past performance and also to create a path for the next OKR period, right? These are some of the pitfalls that you will have to avoid when during OKR implementation, right? All right. Now we have covered the most important thing, all right? Why we understood why OKRs, what are OKRs, the basics of OKRs, how to write high quality OKRs with some good and bad examples, and we also understood some of the pitfalls that you will face during your OKR implementation, how to avoid that. As a next step, what are we going to do, right? You don't have to make OKRs very complicated. In fact, the best way to start is simply to start picking one team, one project, or even one quarter as your pilot, right? So draft a very clear objective and pair it with some of the meaningful key results, some of the important metrics that you want to achieve, and then cascade it to your team, right? This is a challenge to all of you, right? Take 10 minutes today. Try to define your priorities as a team. What is your priority for this specific period which will contribute to your organization success, and make sure that you write their priorities and how are you going to achieve those priorities, break down that as key results, and then cascade it to your teams and try doing this. And not only defining this is important, but you will also have to track your progress regularly. So when you define your OKRs, please ensure that you create a execution cadence when your team will have to update the progress, and when are you going to do a review, and at the end of the quarter, what is the reflect and reset that you have planned. All these things you will do, and I'm keeping this as a challenge to all of you, and I'm sure that this is how a successful OKR journey begins, right? And if you want to learn more deeper, we have got plenty of resources. We have an university in our website. We also have very good examples of OKRs for different verticals. Please go check out our website for more resources and informations, right? Thank you very much for spending your little time today, and I will follow up with my next series of videos which will give more insights on your OKR implementation. Thank you very much.